Hello, this is going to be the next topic in reference to evictions. And this is something that was set obviously from Shedder, Sulcer. That is our attorneys for evictions. And I'm going to just go through this. If there's something that I can share above and beyond this little page, I will. But the procedures vary from county to county. So basically, Denver County is different than most of the other counties when it comes to pay or quit. Like right now, there's a difference in days for pay or quit for Denver versus, say, Douglas County. Now, that may change, and everything changes constantly when it comes to days and different laws here in Denver and Colorado these days. So anyway, just make sure that you're staying on top of that when you give the information to Shedder to start the process. They'll let you know what needs to be done. Now, an eviction, physical removal of a tent supervised by the sheriff, takes a considerable amount of time and has specific requirements. In order to familiarize yourself with and comply with these requirements, you should review this memo, and failure to comply with these requirements can result in delays and other problems. So it's very important that we do everything exactly right and go through this every time. We don't do these enough to really memorize this. In fact, I've been in the business for 10, 12 years, and I still have not had to go through an entire eviction. But it's because I'm doing a lot of the heavy lifting up front. I'm trying to find the right people. I'm communicating with the tenants, trying to get them out of the situation, talking them off the ledge of evictions, and that's really a talent that I possess that has worked well for me and the owners. Now, number one, you must wait for the civil deputy's arrival before entering the dwelling to start the eviction. The deputy is the one executing the order, and all persons present, regardless of status, are required to follow his or her direction. Failure of the plaintiff or workers to do so may cause cancellation of the eviction. Interference by anyone may result in arrest. Entering the property before the sheriff destroys the value of the eviction process. So, i.e., for example, having the eviction carried out pursuant to a court order by the sheriff. If you enter prior to the sheriff has no way to know whether you entered 5 minutes ago or 5 days ago. 2. Due to officer safety concerns, under no circumstances shall the date or time of the eviction be communicated to the tenant. The deputy most likely will cancel the eviction if the sheriff's manpower or equipment requirements are not met. That's probably what that's supposed to say. Both initially or, if necessary, after the process has begun. 3. You have 1 hour to complete the eviction. The only exception is a 4 or 5 bedroom house, which may require 2 hours. General guidelines is 4 laborers for a 1 bedroom dwelling, 8 laborers for a 2 bedroom dwelling, and 10 or more laborers for a 3 bedroom dwelling. Verify this requirement with the sheriff. They can change from property to property depending on the condition of the dwelling. Now, that's generally where I'll try to get in or get eyes on the interior of the property if it's safe. Because sometimes if you're dealing with people with evictions, it could be a dangerous situation. I think I've seen it several different ways so far, and I have been involved in eviction processes, but just generally they're out by the time you post that sheriff's notice that they're going to be coming out. So I get eyes on the property. If it's a total mess, you're going to want snow shovels too, along with big contractor bags, a lot of bags, and where they can just shovel things off the floor and just get it out of the property. So if it's a total mess, it doesn't matter. We still have that timeline to work with on the sheriff, or they will leave, and then we have to start all over again. Let's go on to number 4. All personal property must be placed on the driveway, parking area, or lawn, never on the sidewalk or street. The sheriff will direct you as to where to place the property. And you must have sufficient equipment, trash bags, and boxes for all personal property. Everything, including the trash, must be removed and handled with reasonable care. For water beds, you will need a water bed pump, and this process takes approximately 45 minutes. Well, this is why we need to get eyes on the property, find out what they have, and really try to get in there and do an inspection. And you might want to even do that inspection right when they're late if they're really not cooperating, just to check things out, because they may not let you in later, or it may be more problems. Number 5, inventory of the property is not required, and you are not responsible for the personal property after removal from the premise. There is a 24-hour waiting period before disposing of tenants' unclaimed property. The property owner, or us as the agent, is responsible for the immediate cleanup of any of the tenant's property that falls onto the public property or a neighbor's private property during the 24-hour waiting period prior to the disposal of the tenant's unclaimed property. Number 6, when scheduling an eviction, please make us aware of any potential dangers, and they're talking about Cheddar along with the sheriff's department, or any known drug or gang activity. It's very important for them to know, and I've seen that before, where there's drugs, and then at that point, it does get a little sketchy. Do not enter the property, disturb any belongings, or begin to make repairs prior to the sheriff arriving to oversee the eviction. 7. Please make arrangements to have an expert present, a locksmith, to open, unlock doors if necessary, and to change locks after the eviction is complete. If there are any concerns, contact the sheriff's office before the scheduled move so they can advise you on how to prepare so that your eviction will not be canceled. Here's some sheriff's phone numbers. But again, I hire Cheddar to do most of this, and that is going to complete this portion of the eviction process. But stay tuned for more. Thank you.